The next Xbox might actually just be a PC. Battlefield 6 just broke franchise records, which should be good news. And Nintendo released a cozy Pokémon farming game that's moved the stock market. Marvel and DC are crossing over again, and Star Wars might finally be reviving one of the most beloved RPGs ever made. So it's been a week. All this and more on this episode of The Rift. Hey travelers, welcome back to The Rift, where we break down the biggest stories in gaming, tech, film, comics, and the wider universe of nerd culture. And if it dominates the Reddit threads, melts Twitter, or sparks 1,000 YouTube thumbnails, we're probably talking about it. Tonight we've got 5 big stories shaping the industry, plus a lightning round of everything else that's happened this week. So let's get started with something that might be changing what a console even is. Microsoft has revealed new details about its next console, currently known as Project Helix. The announcement came during the Game Developers Conference, GDC 2026, where Microsoft outlined its next-generation roadmap. Helix will reportedly feature a new AMD chip and lean heavily into AI-assisted graphics. But the bigger story here isn't the hardware, it's the ecosystem. Microsoft is pushing something called Xbox mode on Windows, essentially turning PCs into console-style gaming devices. Meaning the next Xbox might not be a completely separate platform at all. It might just be a specialized window gaming machine that lives in your living room. In the timeline, developers likely won't see early hardware until 2027. So if you're waiting for the next Xbox, you've got time to clear that Steam backlog. But who am I kidding? None of us are going to do that. Battlefield 6 just had its biggest launch in franchise history, and shortly after celebrating that success, Electronic Arts confirmed layoffs across multiple Battlefield studios. The restructuring has hit teams at DICE, Criterion, Motive, and Ripple Effect. Now, EA says the changes are meant to better align teams around the future of the franchise, which is corporate language for, yeah, we're really excited about the future, but we just want it with less people. Unfortunately, this has become a familiar story across the industry. Big launch, strong sales, then restructuring. Now, it's one of the biggest tensions in modern AAA game development because even blockbuster success doesn't always guarantee stability for the people who make the games. In other news, Nintendo has just released a new Pokémon game, but instead of battling through gyms, this one lets you farm with your Pokémon. The game is called Pokémon Pokopia. It's a cozy life sim experience built for the Switch 2. Think Stardew Valley, but with Pikachu. And somehow, this relaxed farming game has actually helped boost Nintendo's stock price, which tells you something important about the industry right now. Cozy games are huge. Titles like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley prove that not every successful game needs to be combat, explosions, or a 200-hour skill tree. Sometimes people just want to plant vegetables with their Pokémon, and Nintendo is clearly leaning into that trend. And stick around for the lightning round, where we talk about Silksong and Cyberpunk joining Game Pass and why the console subscription wars are getting completely out of control. Star Wars is expanding. Again, Disney released new promotional material for The Mandalorian Grogu, a theatrical film arriving in 2026. Now, this marks a shift for the franchise because, as you know, The Mandalorian started as a streaming show. Now its characters are headed to the theaters, which means Baby Yoda has officially completed the journey from meme to merchandising giant. Meanwhile, on the gaming side of things, we've got another update on the Knights of the Old Republic remake. Now, this project has been stuck in development limbo for years, but developers recently confirmed something important. It's still in development. No release date, no gameplay, but the remake lives, which means hope remains alive for the most beloved RPG in gaming history. I'm told I sometimes sound like Revan too, so, give me a call. Marvel and DC are teaming up again. This time it's Spider-Man and Superman crossing over in comics. Now, the crossovers between the two companies are rare, but when they happen, they tend to become major comic events. Last year's Deadpool and Batman crossover proved fans still love these collaborations, and now the two biggest heroes in comics are sharing a story. Which means somewhere in the comic, Spider-Man and Superman probably argue about something, fight for a few pages, then team up to save the world. Comic book diplomacy. So those are the 5 biggest stories shaking up nerd culture this week, but of course that's only half the internet, because while that was happening, the rest of gaming tech and the fandom world has been melting down over a dozen other headlines. So let's hit the rest of them very quickly in our lightning round. Subscription wars have escalated. Game Pass has added Hollow Knight Silksong and Cyberpunk 2077, while PlayStation Plus counters with Space Marine 2, Persona 5 Royal, and Madden 26, because honestly, who needs sleep? NVIDIA announced DLSS 4.5, meaning your GPU can now generate frames that technically never existed, which is great for frame rates, but mildly concerning for reality. Valve confirmed its upcoming Steam devices are still targeting 2026. No matter what you've heard, or what you've heard them say, it's coming. Diamond Comic Distributors is locked in a legal battle with creditors that could disrupt the comic book supply chain, which comic shops definitely don't need right now. And that's it, the biggest in nerd culture news for the week, from the future of Xbox, to layoffs in the gaming industry, to Star Wars movies, comic book crossovers, and the eternal mystery of when you'll finish that Steam backlog. Now, if you've enjoyed this episode of The Rift, make sure to subscribe to Ghostlight so you don't miss the next episode, and let me know, what do you think the most important story in nerd culture is this week? Is it the future of Xbox? Is it subscription wars? Or is it, farming with your Pokemon? As always, I'm Pete, and I'll see you next week on The Rift.